معنا اليوم Maria is a dietitian, personal trainer, entrepreneur, and she has a background in psychology and educational leadership. So she's the best to talk to us about the fear that adults face when they want to start something new. So أنا حكيتها لماريا، قلت لها إنه كتير بنواجه وبنسمع من العالم إنه حلمي دق موسيقى، حلمي أكون أعرف دق بيانو أو جيتار أو هيك. بنقول لهم طيب ليش ما بتبلشوا؟ and بيجوا الأجوبة إنه صعب، خوف وهيك. ف this is our topic اليوم. She's gonna talk to us about what happens and how we can overcome that. So
Exactly.
very nice
And
to have you. Yep.
for the people who don't know you and who don't know your platform, Kamena, let us know, Kamena, a little bit about what you do and
Sure.
what you offer.
Yeah, so Takato is an online music school. It's basically a website. بيفوتوا عليه, you sign up, بتحطوا شو بدكم تتعلموا, what's your level, and يعني هيك 4 questions على السريع. بعدين بتشوفوا ال teachers profiles. Everyone can pick the teacher they want to learn with and book lessons حسب الوقت يلي هن بدهم اياه. So بيشوفوا اي متى it's available لأنه busy schedule وهيك, so it's very flexible. And they just get started من بيتهم learning music. So this is how it goes. It's very simple.
I love this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start هلا شوي talking about the topic.
Yeah.
But I want
So
to say that before we start, if anyone has any question, أكيد type it in the comments, or you can click on the bubble يلي من تحت عليها question mark. You can type in your questions. We will be replying to them later on during the conversation.
Yes.
Okay. So
yeah. So
first off, starting off أول شيء, whenever someone wants to take a step into changing something or adapting a new behavior or a new habit, there are certain phases that we have to go through for us to actually change and maintain this change in our lives.
Okay.
So some of the first phase يلي الشخص معقول يقطع فيها اسمها the pre-contemplation phase, where I know that this something exists, but I don't have any interest in changing this and taking part of this behavior. يعني I know that that playing the piano exists, but I have no interest yet for me to actually learn how to play. But I enjoy listening to it. After that comes the contemplation phase. Contemplation phase is the phase where I am actually starting to contemplate on that idea. I want to learn. I still didn't take any actions. I still didn't take any commitments, but the will and the want and the desire is there. Okay. So this is called the contemplation phase. After that comes the preparation phase. In the preparation phase, we go through the planning and the scheduling and preparing ourselves, whether it's fixing a certain time in our schedule, whether it's buying the necessary instruments, whether it's learning more about what we're about to go into, in order for us to start taking those actions for us to change this behavior or adapt a new habit or a new skill.
Okay.
After the preparation phase, we have the action phase. This is the phase where we actually start to apply the necessary actions for us to take part of this new skill or to change this behavior. And at the end, we have the maintenance phase. In the maintenance phase, it's more, I like to call it the discipline phase, because this is the phase where I put in the action, my motivation is starting maybe to drown off, but I need to maintain a certain set of maybe practice or putting in those actions for a certain period of time in order for me to avoid relapse and in order for me to avoid going back into the phase where before I actually started to change or started to implement this new skill or behavior.
Okay.
So نحن عنا all of these steps يلي نحن بنقطع فيهم. بنبلش where we don't have an interest in, and we end up actually changing a behavior or adopting a new skill.
Okay.
What are we going to focus on today? Today's focus is going to be on that phase in between the contemplation and in the taking action. So I want to, but I'm not yet taking the necessary actions for me to change or to adopt this new skill.
Okay.
So the one in between هي the preparation phase. But in order for me to prepare, is it only necessary for me to prepare the instruments, for me to prepare the research, to do everything? لأنه sometimes the thing that keeps me away from actually taking actions is not just being prepared technically, it's also being
Yes.
prepared in here. So most of the time هيدا resistance يلي بيجي for me to
صح.
jump off and start this new thing, it's
صح.
fear. I'm
وهي
scared.
أصعب، يعني هي حقيقة
صح.
بتكون أصعب من التكنيكال، لأنه let's say
Exactly,
about music you
exactly.
can هلا get a cheap version of an instrument، يعني فيك تجيب a keyboard or even singing doesn't need any instrument، بس بتصير إنه حجة، لأنه يعني the real reason is مثل ما عم تقولي is إنه I am not ready rather than I don't have the right material to take action.
Exactly. And I love that you said the real reason. لأنه
Yeah.
نحن بنحط لها layers وlayers وبنسميها
صح.
شو نحن بدنا نسميها without actually digging deep and realizing that the real reason is actually us being afraid, which is
Yeah.
normal and which is completely okay. وهيدا شيء إذا نحن we're scared, it doesn't mean إنه نحن there's something wrong about us. لأنه نحن
Okay.
if you want كأنه أنا واقفة على a cliff أنا حدا عم يقول نطي لشيء جديد، لشيء أنا ما بعرف شو هو، لشيء أنا بخاف يمكن how I judge myself, how other people judge me, and I'm afraid to fail. What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not good enough? لأنه if I'm not good enough then هيدا الشيء رح يأكد لي على شو أنا بفكر يلي هو إنه I am not good enough. أنا ماني مستعدة إنه بعد ثبت لحالي زيادة إنه I'm not good enough. So هون it's so critical for me to break these limiting beliefs يلي بخلوني عن جد إنه جرب أشياء جديد to expand myself إنه أقدر أطور حالي وأتعلم أشياء جديد. And music is not just a skill. Music, it can bring so much joy, it can bring so much light into someone's life, it can bring a lot. The creativity and expression that is in music can make you feel more alive than any music that you might hear يمكن just playing them and taking part in it. So and it's gonna make you for sure more alive than staying comfortable and not taking the actions that are necessary. But we will be getting into that. So
yeah.
Sorry, Anna, I'm a little sick, so I might be coughing. أنا عم بحكي. Thank you. So نحن هلا رح نحكي شوي، رح نقسم the fear of failure. The fear of failure في يجي من كذا شغلة. أنا في يكون خايفة من other people's judgment. What are other people gonna say about me? في يكون خايفة من التغيير. I'm afraid to change لأنه if I change it means that there's a whole other life waiting for me. And حتى وقت يكون هيدا الشيء حلو بخوف لأنه it means I need to live a different kind of life and I need to be ready for it, and I don't believe that either I'm ready for it or I deserve it. So sometimes we don't believe that we are good enough or that we deserve to be happy or that we deserve the success or that we deserve to be skilled. وكتير كمان من الأوقات نحن وصغار يمكن معلمة، يمكن a friend، يمكن our mother، يمكن our father، يمكن our sister أو حدا مرة قالنا that you're not good enough أو that you're gonna fail أو that you're always gonna be second أو that يعني you're never gonna be perfect at something. هاي فينا نحملها معنا كل حياتنا ونطبقها على كل شيء نحن بنقطع فيه. So إذا أنا عن جد I believe that I am not good enough, then أنا إذا أجيتي قلتي لي تعي دق بيانو على عمر 25 سنة رح أقول لك I'm not good enough. رح أقول لك أنا تأخرت. رح أقول لك إنه أنا it's too late for me لأنه أنا ديجا من أنا وصغيرة I'm not good enough. هلا بدك تيجي تقولي لي إنه أنا قادرة إني أتعلم بيانو أو أتعلم جيتار أو أتعلم a new skill هلا بهيدا العمر, and I believe it even more إنه أنا ما أنا قادرة تحقق أنا الشيء اللي بدي أحققه. So كتير من الأيام هودي الأشياء هن that keep us away from taking in the leap and doing what we really love and what we really like. يعني إذا عن جد نحن منحط هيدا ال self judgment and self criticism and the criticism of other people aside ونسأل حالنا عن جد إذا أنا ما كنت خايفة من شيء، إذا أنا ما كان عندي zero doubt about anything وكان بدي أعمل شغلة وحدة تبسطني، شو هي الشغلة اللي بعملها؟ يعني إذا learning music is something إيه قد إيه عن جد I feel free. I feel that I'm able to express myself because I want to and I like it and I enjoy it. So in order to break this fear of failure كمان في كذا اشياء بدنا نقطع فيهم و to break this it's so hard يعني عن جد it's a process it's not an easy process it's a painful process ليه painful لأنه the emotions that we feel are painful لدرجة actually there was a scientific study in neuroscience that was done on it scanned the brains and it showed that the pain that we feel when we are socially rejected أو feel when we fear this failure هيدا البين اللي نحن عم نحسه our brain goes under the same process system يلي بيقطع فيها when it's feeling physical pain. So تخيلي قد ايه عن جد مينيموم نخاف من الوجع يلي نحن رح نحسه إذا we were rejected أو إذا whether internally أو externally.
صح. خصوصي في شيء بحس كمان بيزيد خصوصي بالميوزك عند الادلت اللي هو الكومباريزن يعني وقتها يشوفوا مثلا رفقاتهم يلي كانوا مبلشين لما كانوا عمرهم مثلا 6 سنين وهلا صاروا ادفانس بيقولوا انه اذا رفقاتي عم بيدقوا هيك او عم بيغنوا هيك انا بدي بلش هلا اتس اوكورد انه انه اتس نوت gonna work انه خلص هن لحقوا حالهم انا اتس تو ليت ف when we look يعني وقت they look around هالشغلة ما بتحمسهم بالعكس هيك it makes them feel إنه مثل ما كنت عم تقولي إنه it's too late فبحس كمان this is something that adds to the fear when we compare يعني as you were saying.
I'm so glad you brought this up. أنا كان بدي أحكي عن موضوع comparison but I'm gonna say what I want to say هلا بما إنه أنت فتحت الموضوع هيدا شغلة أنا عم طبقها على حالي to be honest recently. في عندك two things عندك learning and failing وعندك achieving and being perfect. So أنا من قبل كان عندي I'm an overachiever. أنا إذا بتشوفيني ماريا she's doing things all the time. عم بعملها I want to achieve and be good at everything that I do. So perfectionism إذا بدك تسميها. Okay and وقت تفكري that I want to do this because I want to achieve something دغري بيجي pressure عليك دغري في it's directly linked to pressure to comparison. I'm comparing myself to someone else. I'm comparing myself to what the other person achieved. I'm comparing myself to where this other person is. بس إذا أنا طلعت على هيدا الشغلة من another perspective يلي هي I'm looking at something I want to do this thing because I want to learn or because I want to fail. I want to fail at it. I want خلص إذا أنا I'm setting myself up for failure and not up for achievement قد إيه عم شيل عن حالي هيدا ال pressure of being perfect and of being up to someone else's expectations of comparing myself to someone else يعني أنا صرت هلا إذا بدي أعمل شيء بخوفني بقول I'm going there and I want to fail. I don't want to achieve something لأنه بمجرد أنا حطيت حالي هون عم شيل عني العالم يلي أنا بدي أقارن حالي فيهم. خلص I don't want to achieve like you. I don't want to be like you. I want to fail because I want to learn. And during this phase and during this process, the thing that I learned that this taught me was that it taught me how to be human. It taught me that I'm not perfect, and it's so freeing not to be perfect at something. It's so freeing. لأنه I don't even have to be good at it. I just want to live. I want to experience it, and I want to see how this makes me feel. I want to see where this takes me, how much this expands me. So إذا أنا بدي أتعلم بيانو أو بدي أتعلم جيتار أو أتعلم an instrument because I want to be as good as her or as good as him or I want to be good at this performance, it's gonna be different من إذا أنا قررت إنه I want to learn how to generate music, how to create sound, how to feel with the rhythm, how to feel. قد إيه رح تكون عن جد different the whole experience. قد إيه أنا رح ساعد حالي تأني أتعلم تأني أتطور. So taking this decision فيها تكون من two different perspectives. And نحن عنا the choice to choose whether to go there or here.
بس كان بدي to add on this point إنه حتى أوقات الميوزك يعني students الادults اللي بيسألونا بيقولوا لنا مثلا التيتشر رح يكون عنده is he patient enough for me إنه I'm gonna be terrible. But I just want to say إنه music teachers don't have expectations whatsoever on adults. يعني they don't expect إنه أول صف رح يجي فيه هذا الأدلت رح يدق a perfect piece. بالعكس they know the process very well and they know that it's gonna take time and it's not easy and everything. فكمان إذا حدا حاطط براسه إنه يعني خايف من expectations the teacher itself, I just want to say don't. لأنه
It's so important that you
بالعكس.
mentioned it عن جد.
yeah.
It's so important لأن نحن 3/4 الأوقات بنشوفها من one perspective. See it from the student's perspective, not from the teacher's perspective. So it's good that you brought this up كمان.
Yes, exactly.
أصلاً أنا بدي أسألك هلا later on كمان شو الأشياء اللي أنت بتشوفيها the other students شو الأشياء اللي أنت بتحسيها as a teacher كمان.
Okay. هلا وبعد شوي.
Yeah, بعد شوي. Okay, so
Yeah.
أنا فتت وبدأت أتعلم هيدا السكيل الجديدة. Okay, أو I want to change this certain behavior.
Okay.
قبل ما فوت dealing with the fear of failure في عندي كذا شغلة أنا بدي أسألها لحالي أنا أعرف إذا هيدا الشيء اللي أنا عم فوت عليه هو الشيء اللي أنا أصلاً بدي إياه. قبل ما بلش فوت بهالمغموسة كلها و to dig deep which is something super important بس بدي أعمله كرمال الشيء المضبوط. So أنا إذا بدي بلش let's say to learn how to play an instrument it's so important for me to know why I'm doing this. ليه؟ How does it make me feel? What added value does it bring? شو هو الشيء اللي أنا خلاني إني فوت وبلش إني أتعلم هذا الشيء؟ ليه؟ Is it because I love listening to it? Is it because بحب أتعلم a new skill? Is it because of the scientific benefits تبعها when it comes to the cognitive things يعني longer memory, it helps with the aging process, it helps with the keeping you young. يعني في كتير scientific proof يعني كتير بيفرجوا حسناتها إن أنا أتعلم an instrument. أو is it because it's a way for me to express myself, it's a way for me that my soul feels alive doing it, it's a way for me to actually be who I am. So فيها كتير عالم they identify themselves with their music. So كمان it could be one of the reasons. So كتير مهم أنا أعرف ليه. وبس أعرف ليه مهم إنه نلاحظ هل هيدا الدافع تبعي external ولا internal؟ هل because I want to prove someone else wrong? Is it because I want to show someone else something? Is it because I want to be better than someone else? Or is it because of something that's internal? And I will tell you, if it's external ما راح تضاين. The consistency is not going to be there, the commitment is not going to be there, and the joy is not going to be there. So دايما أحسن الواي تبعنا تكون internal وتكون لها علاقة بالتطوير نفسنا نحن من جوا whether كسكيل أو whether نحن evolving as people. So من بعد ما أنا عارف أنا ليه عم بعمل هيدا الشيء it's important to know what type of commitments does it require of me to start the skill. So عندنا different type of commitments. عندنا the commitment of time, عندنا the commitment of energy. We want to practice. عندنا الوقت تبع lesson. عندنا investment of money, whether to buy the instrument or to pay for the teacher أو the platform or anything. So عندنا كذا شغل أو يمكن the drive, the time it takes for me to drive there and back. كمان this is something that I should consider بالأشياء اللي أنا بدي أحطهم effort and energy and investments into adopting this new skill. So what are they? It's important for me to identify what does it take me to actually get into this field أو to learn this skill. لأنه أنا مثلا قبل ما بلش حط الحجج إنه ما عندي وقت بركي هي ما بدها وقت بركي بدها 5 دقايق. So it's important أنا أعرف شو بدها شو المتطلب مني إني أعمله قبل ما فوت وبلش أنا أعمل هذا الشيء. من بعدها it's important to know what are the rewards that I'm gonna get or I'm gonna feel after I adopt the skill. So أنا عرفت ليه عم بتعلمها عرفت شو متطلب مني طب أنا تنقول أنا تعلمتها و I have that now this new skill. لوين عم بتوصلني؟ How does it make me feel to actually have it? This يعني it's so important to feel that we need to use our senses when we want to create behavioral change. So not just visualizing it, I need to imagine it, I need to feel it, I need to hear it, I need to know how it makes me feel لأنه the power of emotion is so important in driving change. So
Yeah.
إذا أنا بعرف this is gonna make me feel more confident، إذا بعرف it's gonna make me feel more free، إذا بعرف it's gonna make me feel more عندي self esteem أعلى، إذا it's gonna increase my creativity، شو هن ال benefits and rewards تبع هيدا الشيء. يمكن رح تعطيني scholarship، يمكن هيدا الشيء رح يقدر يخليني to stand out in my work، it's gonna give me a raise، it's gonna ما بعرف anything. So
Okay.
بدي أشوف شو هن rewards، وهلا قد إيه هود rewards بيعنوا لي أنا بحياتي.
Okay.
يعني قد ايه عن جد انا بيعني لي انه انا يطلع لي هيدا ريورد. سو
Okay.
انا هون كانه صار عندي the cause and the effect وليه انا عم بعمل هيدا الشيء.
Okay.
سو يعني حسنت اذا بدك انه ليه انا عم فوت بهالشغله واقتنعت. fine
Okay.
I know my why, I know my rewards and I'm okay مقتنعه. what are the things that are stopping me from doing this.
Okay.
هون أنا بدي أعطيك the floor and tell me some of the most common things that clients or that people usually بيقولوا لك إياهم، إنه شو أكثر شيء معقول يوقف الشخص إنه يتعلم a new instrument. أنا رح بلش
Okay.
أكيد ما عندي وقت. أكيد رح
صح.
يقولوا لك هي يمكن one
This
of the
is
top
the
things.
thing we hear the most. ما عندي وقت. It's very common. I think it's a big misconception لأنه practically as a beginner يعني as a beginner musician, okay, you need to take one lesson per week. نحن lesson is 40 minutes. So let's say you need 40 minutes per week and then you need 10 minutes per day to practice. So this is all the time that it needs. 40 minutes يعني episode على Netflix و 10 minutes يعني 10 minutes scrolling على انستا وخلصوا.
عن جد عن جد.
So it's simple يعني when you look at it from من هالناحية ما بدها كتير. وحتى يعني with what you're doing نحن كتاكاتو مثلا شلنا burden إنه going to a place, the driving burden for the teacher and for the student. شلنا ال awkward interactions that you might have with مع حدا اللي بيشتغل بالسكول مع التيتشر مع الأهل. شلنا كل شيء awkward عم نركز بس إنه you just have to take this lesson with your teacher and everything else you do it on your own. So هول كانوا من الاشياء اللي نحن عم نفكر بالبرودكت تبعنا او بالويب سايت او بالسولوشن that we're doing كان بدنا نحل هول الاشياء يعني مقصوده مش بالغلط. شفنا
it's so
انه كانت
important.
هالمشكله. Another thing is مثل ما قلت لك بس يكونوا حاسين انه يعني بيستحوا في كتير عالم بتكون مستحية انه لا اكيد ما رح يمشي حالي. اكيد في عالم بفكروا انه عن جد انه التيتشر رح يتمسخر عليهم او انه the teacher is gonna be surprised قد ايه هن ما بيعرفوا بالموسيقى. بس ما ها شغلتنا بالنهاية يعني there is no judgment whatsoever. في عالم وكمان شغلة في عالم بيفكروا إنه they don't have it، إنه الواحد يا بيخلق موسيقى وعنده بيحب يعني عنده موهبة يا خلص ها هي. مش مزبوط يعني. في الواحد يكون ما خصه بالدنيا مثل ما بنقول عادة وشوي شوي يشتغل على السكيل تبعه وعلى الموسيقى وعلى الانسترومنت او على الغنى او على شو ما كان ويطور حاله. it's all about dedication and practice أهم شيء. and مثل ما قلت إنه setting your goal إنه تحطيها براسك أول شيء، تشوفي ليش، تعرفي ليش، تكون internal. everything you said is very beautiful لأنه التهيت بسؤال.
لا
No, it's
جاوبي إذا
very
بدك.
true. التهيت بسؤال في حدا عم يقول إنه what's the only thing that cannot be learned. For me in music ما there's nothing يعني. أكيد في the personal بس حتى أنت يعني you can learn it yourself. في أشياء that people cannot teach you. يعني أنا يعني people can inspire you مثلا. your teacher can inspire you to feel more. they can inspire you to add your touch. بس بالنهاية أنت كل حدا بالميوزك بيكتشف حاله وبيكتشف هو عم بدق what the يعني مثلا أنا عم دق بيانو شو بدي حسس العالم اللي عم تسمعني. there is a personal touch. هيدي أكيد ما في حدا يجي يقول لك إنه دق هيدا وخلي هيدا يضحك أو دق هالشغلة ما بتتعلم. it gets inspired.
character.
بس بس إنه يعني no
عندي
when you put your mind to it إنه خلص it's the decision
عندي
that's the
سؤال
toughest
لك.
part. Yeah.
هيدا it's كمان one of some of the أكتر أشياء يعني بينقالوا ليش أنا ما فيني أتعلم هلا. To the people who say إنه أنا هلا I'm too old for me to learn a new instrument أو especially يعني people in their 20s, what do you have to say to those? يعني okay, we know إنه the younger you are the faster you learn, but is it the case? Is it always the case? يعني يعني what if I'm in my 20s? What if I'm in my 30s and I want to learn a new instrument? Does it take much longer or is it much harder?
اوكي رح اقول لك شيء. هو في افانتاج وفي ديزافانتاج للعمرين، يعني في افانتاج وديزافانتاج للاولاد وفي ذات الشيء للكبار. رح اقول لك شو الافانتاج اللي عندهم يا الكبار ما بيكون عندهم يا الاولاد. So it should encourage الكبار. اول شيء وقتها you're in your 20s you are deciding انه you want to do this. So your why and your goal are much clearer than the why and the goal of kids. لأن usually it's يا أي instrument موجود بالبيت يا الأهل بيوجهوا، وحتى their options are limited لأنهم صغار. يعني في instruments ما بيقدروا يدقوها لأنه they don't have the capacities، مثلا saxophone، قانون، عود، هول big instruments بدهم نفس بدهم body. So their options are more limited. The kids as an adult you can choose literally whatever you want, and because you are making this decision you stick to the difficulties of it. يعني لأنه أنت حاطة براسك إنه أنا بدي أتعلم هالإنسترومنت بتناضلي لكنت لا قدرت تتعلم لا تقدري يعني تتعلميه. So this is one thing. Another thing is that عند الكبار in one lesson they understand the concept of reading notes, how they should think about it. يعني في اشياء بيلقطوها اسرع من الاولاد. الاصعب عند الكبار هي الفيزيكال ابيليتي، يعني لنقول التكنيك تبع ايديهم تبع how to play the instrument، لانه they need to train their muscles harder. بينما الولد بيكون عم بيتعلم يعني عم بيتعلم هيدا muscle training على عمر اصغر. So ها شوي
I
هيك
want
comparison.
I want to add
Yeah.
to this إنه صح إنه it's harder على the adults to adopt this new skill أو to train those muscles، مثلا كيف تحركي إيديك أو
Yeah.
صبيعك، لأنه I know إنه the muscles are and the neurons are building up faster نحن وصغار. بس the brain في شيء اسمه brain plasticity يعني our brain is constantly creating and wiring new neurons and firing new neurons and building them up to create to build up on that skill that we are constantly training.
صح.
So أنا إذا حيلا شيء بدي أتعلمه إذا بركز عليه and I train over time I'm able to create new neural pathways in my brain that are going to help me to adopt a certain skill. So whether أنا
صح.
كبير أو whether أنا صغير يمكن السرعة بتأثر، بس مش يعني أنا ما بقدر لأنه أنا خلص I'm old now old.
Okay. So this answers كمان our question. في حدا بقول إنه he's 26 وبيحب electric guitar. Is it too late? No. ما في عنا
It's
too
not
late.
too late.
في some students there they can be 40 50 60. It's a big misconception إنه music is only for kids to learn. And this is precisely why عم جرب نعمل talks نطلع نحكي to just raise awareness about this. ويمكن يكون في حدا يسمع ويستفيد انه منا بس للولاد anyone can do it. وكمان مش الكل بيتعلم تيصير بروفيشنال. هيدا شغلة كمان كتير مهمة انه منفكر this is the only path that a music student can take. في عالم كتير بتحب هي لإلها هيك ما بدي
Exactly.
أصير أنا كتير شاطر، بدي بس دق هالغنية وخلصت
لأنه
معي.
I like to do this.
This is
على
my
الأقل.
goal. Even
صح.
about singing في حدا is asking about singing. The voice can be trained. I'm not personally a singing expert فما رح أحكي شيء ماني شاطرة فيه.
بس رح أقولك أنا شو تعلمت.
يلا خبرينا شو
لأنه I'm
تعلمتي.
taking singing lessons.
Yeah.
صح في عالم بيخلقوا صوتهم كتير حلو وبيعرفوا naturally how to use their voice، بس في تكنيك للغناء مثل ما في تكنيك to play an instrument. So إذا نحن بنتعلم how to push the air out, how to open up our chords, how to open up our مجرى الهواء تبعنا، كيف نطلع الساوند من تمنا، كيف نلفظ الكلمات، كيف تطلع مادي، هيدا كله بيساعد ب how we are listening to the sound اللي عم يطلع نحن من تمنا. So إذا التكنيك مضبوطة بيقدر يطلع a nice sound. بس يمكن في أكيد في شيء اسمه inborn talent when it comes to singing، مثل inborn مثل the character تبع شخص، someone is humorous, someone is not. يعني these are inborn things، بس مش يعني we cannot build up on them. And there's a quote that I love that I always say. It's that discipline overdoes talent any day. You can be born talented and not practice on that talent to grow it and to refine it. And you can be born without that talent, but build up the discipline to practice and make it work. You're gonna probably end up better than the person who is talented وما طوروا using the discipline that they have. So it's all about you wanting to put in that effort and training yourself to do the right technique, and then from there who you are and your personality is gonna be portrayed in whatever you're doing, whether it's music, whether it's creating something, whether it's dancing, anything. So
صح 100%. So this is in a nutshell.
yeah. So these were some of the burdens يعني some people might face يعني not enough time, or I'm not good enough, or I'm old enough, or so okay, going back to the fear of failure and to the fear of judgment. So نحن هلا رح ارجع اعمل recap for the people who weren't here. We talked about the importance of knowing why we want to start something. How does it make me feel? شو هن الكوميتمنتس يلي أنا بدي أخذهم in order to actually develop this skill أو to change this behavior. Then we went into what are the rewards, how is it going to make me feel, and are those rewards meaningful enough for me to actually put in those commitments. And then we talked about what's stopping me from doing that. هيدا أكيد من بعد ما حكينا عن the fear of failure, etc. So هلا the question that comes after that is, what am I afraid of? Okay, so أنا عرفت ليه، وعرفت how it's gonna make me feel، وعرفت إنه what's stopping me، بس كمان part of what's stopping me is the fear. So it's important to identify what are the things that are keeping me away from doing it when it comes to fear. So am I afraid of مثل ما أنت كنت عم تقولي what the teacher is going to say to me, if I'm not good enough, if I'm not born with talent, my fear of being judged, and my fear of judging myself, and my fear of starting something new, and my fear of changing, and my fear of taking this one decision that's going to change my entire life.
يمكن أوقات بيفكروا إنه it's gonna be too difficult كمان. this is a fear. يعني they feel إنه بركي كان كتير صعبة، بركي أنا ما رح أعرف. يعني the difficulty of the لأنه كمان بيسمعوا كتير إنه ميوزك صعبة، ميوزك كتير صعب، كتير صعب الواحد يتعلم يدق كتير بس إنه
exactly. بس لو كل شخص لازم يخلق يعرف يعرف يدق، ما كان المفروض ما كنت هون. ما the teachers are there to walk you through the process of learning. It's not to take a perfect player and to turn them into a professional one. لا, it's to take someone who doesn't know how to play and to guide them to learn how to play, to learn how to enjoy playing it as well. So it's not just about being good at it. It's because you're not good at it that you need to learn. And even if you are good at it, you need to refine your skills كمان. So دايما بنفكر إنه بدنا نفوت على الشغلة من هون. And you forget all of those steps. We want to reach there, but it's important to walk through those steps up, لأنه هول steps هن اللي رح يحسنوا بعد نحن هالإيمج اللي عنا إياها. So this is also important to enjoy and to appreciate and to cherish this journey of us growing into the person that we're becoming and growing into the skill that we want to learn. And something that I want to mention, sometimes it is scary for us to be uncomfortable, and it is scary for us to change or to be somewhere where we're not feeling at ease. But I promise you that it is even more scary if you stay where you are comfortable. and
Yeah.
it's even more scary if you don't change at all and if you don't take that risk. So
صح.
would you rather put yourself in an uncomfortable position and change, or would you just stay where you are and stay the same? من هلا لا. Time is gonna pass anyway. So it's
Yeah.
either we
And both
choose to
are scary. So
exactly. So just might as well do what you love because you love it,
yeah.
without the fear of what anyone else is gonna think or judge you. لأنه بالنهاية نحن we hold that sword. We hold the sword and the power to give it to other people. قد إيه هن بيقدروا يأثروا علينا وقديش نحن بنقدر نخلي غير حكي غير عالم يأثر نحن فينا the judgment of other people. And sometimes we allow it so much to the point that we believe it and we start using it against our own selves. So
Mhm.
in a nutshell, إذا بدنا نلخص شوي, it is normal for us to be scared of starting something new because our brain
Mhm.
takes anything that is not familiar as something that is dangerous. So physiologically,
Yeah.
it's normal for us to be scared, and emotionally, it's also so normal for us to be afraid. But
Yeah.
the moment that we stop choosing to be perfect and just setting ourselves up to learn and to take in a beginner's mind and to just express ourselves and just be and do what makes us happy. And yet this is so much more rewarding than achieving anything, than being
Yeah.
better than anyone, than doing something. And just Anna, so I want to tell you something. If you want to take any, if this conversation reminded you of one thing, I want you, as soon as we finish this live, to go and take that action, take that appointment, do that call, take that class, take that jump, just jump and see where it's going to take you, wherever it's going to take you. If it's going to take you to the floor, then learn how to get up, and you're going to get up with more skills. And if it's going to take you higher, then just enjoy being there. Just take that risk and do what you love because you love it. And it is going to set you free. It's going to make you feel way more alive.
Yeah. This is so beautiful. وهيك I hope عن جد someone's getting this message or feeling the motivation and the drive behind what you're saying. ونحن we're gonna do هيك something small for those who wanna take the leap. So we're gonna do a promo code اسمه Take the Leap 20, and it's just to give anyone who's listening to us or to this watching this video and who felt like they want to start music, so they're gonna get 20% discount on their first lesson or purchase or whatever they take. So هلا بنرجع بنحط وقتها we save this video and we put it as an IGTV. We'll put it again إذا حدا كان عم بيحضر. It's gonna be Take the Leap 20. So you just put it on the website, or when you talk to us بتقولوا لنا the
I
secret
love this.
code.
Oh, by the way, Hala, in front of all of you guys,
Yeah.
Anna, I'm gonna take the leap. Anna, I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano من أنا وصغيرة، وكنت ضل أقول حتى لو عمري 30 سنة بدي أتعلم how to play the piano. وهلا
Yeah.
I'm committing to that in front of all of you, and I want you to help me, Alexandra, using
أكيد.
Takato for me to start playing the piano and actually taking that leap once and for all.
يلا
خلاص, I'm done. I'm doing this.
إن شاء الله بعد a couple of months we'll go on another live where you're gonna play something on the piano لكن.
Wow, I'm looking forward to this. Inshallah, inshallah. For sure, انتوا guys شاهدين.
Amazing. طيب Maria, it was very like a marriage proposal. It's less stressful, I think. Amazing. Thank you so much, Maria, عن جد for
Thank
this
you.
full of energy talk all the motivation that you've given to everyone. Anything else you'd like to say to wrap things up?
I just want to say thank you for giving me this platform for me to say what I have to say about this topic. And I hope that even one person feels that motivation to jump off that bridge and to actually take the leap to learn whatever skill that they want to learn, whether it's music or not. And إذا حدا عنده سؤال, please feel free to ask.
أكيد.
And if إذا
أكيد.
هلا خلص
So
اللايف
you
and you
can
still want to
either
ask a question,
ask
feel free to
Maria
DM.
ونحن yeah
Yes,
اللي
always here for
بدكن كلنا هون لنساعدكم
سما.
to take the leap.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Alexandra. It was so
Have a
nice
good
to
evening.
talk to you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you everyone for listening. ويلا, we'll be waiting for you to start.